My name is Kevin Gilvari. I'm the legal advisor for the Town of Southampton Youth Court Program. Youth Court is a nationwide program designed to provide restorative justice to young people who have been charged with crimes or are involved in school disciplinary actions. The Youth Court Program is made up of students from our local high schools. The students are the judge, jury, attorneys, and court staff. The cases they handle are real, and the respondents must comply with the dispositions handed out. Tonight is a demonstration of a youth court trial.
Give me 1 second. The jury's gonna walk in now?
Yeah.
Show us what's gonna happen? Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All rise. Southampton Town Youth Court is now in session. The Honorable Brenna O'Reilly is now presiding.
Please be seated. Good evening. On behalf of the Southampton Town Youth Court Program, I want to thank each one of you for being here tonight and participating in Youth Court. Youth Court trials are closed trials. The only person allowed to be in the courtroom are the people involved directly in this case. If there's anyone in the courtroom who is not directly involved in this case or who has not received permission from the Youth Court Coordinator to be present at this trial, you will need to leave at this time. Youth Court is a very important obligation which should be taken seriously. Anyone present who cannot give his or her full attention to the hearing tonight will be asked to leave the courtroom. I would like to remind you that everything that occurs or discussed in this courtroom must remain confidential, especially the name of the respondent. Anyone violating this confidentiality is subject to prosecution and will no longer be part of the Youth Court program. Will the clerk please announce the case?
Southampton Youth Court case number 2019-45 entitled Southampton Town versus Thomas O'Connell will now begin.
Will the respondent rise, please stand and state your full name and age for the record.
Thomas O'Connell, 17.
Thomas, you have been charged with criminal trespass in the 3rd degree and criminal mischief in the 4th degree. Do you admit your guilt to these charges?
Yes.
At this time, I would like to read you your rights and tell you the advantages of taking part in the youth court process. Your rights coming to youth court are: you have the right to a proper youth court procedure, you have the right to have a defense counsel, you have the right to an unbiased youth court procedure, you have the right to have your parents or guardians present. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
Your advantages in coming to youth court are: you are not sent to family court, you are not labeled a juvenile delinquent, you are judged by your peers, you do not have to pay attorney fees, you have an opportunity to learn about the justice system, you have an opportunity to serve as a jury member, to take part in the youth court process and see how it works. You have the opportunity to join youth court as a member after these proceedings are done. Do you understand these advantages?
Yes.
Thank you, Thomas. You may be seated. Will the prosecuting attorneys please stand and state your names for the record?
Ethan. Matthew Godfrey.
Cora Purcell.
Thank you. Will the defense attorneys please stand and state your names for the record?
John Paul Ferrantino.
Christopher Ernst.
Thank you. Members of the jury, it is your duty to determine what disposition, if any, is fair and appropriate for the defendant. To be sure you are impartial and able to fulfill this obligation, I must ask you some questions. Please verbally respond to each question as I ask you. If your answer is yes, please raise your hand and I will ask you some follow-up questions. Are any of you good friends, related to, or have known the respondent for a long time?
No.
Have any of you had any problems with or quarreled with the respondent in the past, whether in school, neighborhood, or elsewhere?
No.
Have any of you heard anything about the respondent, whether good or bad, true or not, which might prejudice you one way or another about this trial?
No.
Did any of you witness an incident or have you heard anything about it which might prejudice you about this case?
No.
Is there any reason I have not asked you about which makes you unsure whether or not you should serve on this jury? Defense attorneys, do you accept this jury to hear this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Prosecuting attorneys, do you accept this jury to hear this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thomas, as the respondent in this case, if you have concerns about a person on the jury, you have the right to have any of the jury excused and replaced with another juror. You do not have to state a reason. Are you willing to have these people decide on your case?
Yes.
Members of the jury, there have been no objections to you serving as jurors on this case. Will the juror, all volunteers, adults, parents, and witnesses, please stand and raise your right hand to take the oath of confidentiality? Please answer with "I do." Do you solemnly declare that you will not divulge, either by written, spoken, or sign language, any information which comes to your knowledge in the course of a youth court case trial, and that you will conceal all and said proceedings which may be held in your presence?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Does the prosecution wish to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor. You do.
Proceed.
Good evening, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Tonight you will hear the despicable case of Thomas O'Connell. On June 10th, 2019, Thomas came into Clearwater High School with the intentions of causing trouble. Thomas came into school and he was planning to have a raid in the main lobby. So earlier in the day, he had purposely wedged open a delivery door so he could trespass later in the night. While he was planning his rave, he knocked over a ladder he was using to hang a disco ball, which hit a fish tank, causing it to shatter. He entered the school around midnight to set this up. After the fish tank shattered, he then fled the scene. The principal then walked into the building around 6 a.m. and saw the mess Thomas had left behind, and called the police and had the custodial staff clean up Thomas's mess. When the fish tank broke, it killed all the fish and left 350 gallons of water all over the floor. The fish tank was a project that belonged to a fellow student, Mary Rose Stevens. As a senior, students must complete a senior project that starts their freshman year. This was Maria's project, to have a fish tank in the main lobby to make it more open. It is a shame that through Thomas's actions, Mary Rose's 4-year project had been for nothing. And as for the reason that Thomas had done this, it was because, as he says, senior pranks are the rite of passage and the last way to leave your mark. He was so concerned about leaving his mark, his legacy, that he had destroyed another. He may have a few problems of his own that he has to deal with, but this does not excuse his actions. As a senior going out to college, he must understand that actions do have consequences, and not know what to do when things like this arise. With that being said, we, the prosecution, recommend the restorative disposition of 35 community service hours, a jail tour, and help pay for some of the damages, and a public apology to Mary Rose and the principal here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Will the defense please give their opening statement?
Good evening, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Tonight you will hear the case of Thomas O'Connell, an innocent young man who simply wanted to have one last laugh before graduation. Thomas is the kind of person who likes to have fun and make his classmates laugh. The night of June 10th, Thomas wanted to throw an end-of-the-year celebration that students would end the school year on a high note. While hanging the disco ball in the lobby, he accidentally knocked over the ladder, causing it to crash into the lobby fish tank. This purely was an accident. Thomas meant no harm and was trying to have the students have one lasting memory. After all, every year the school is plagued with senior pranks. The prosecution may point out that Thomas is misguided, but understand, Thomas has no father figure and lacking every and lacking male role models. Thomas doesn't use tobacco products or use marijuana and has only tried alcohol once. His mom drug tested him and the results came back negative. He is involved in the Thespians Club, multiple plays, and chorus. With all this said, Youth Court is not here to punish. It is here to put the respondent on the path to success. We, the defense, recommend 5 hours of community service and 1 jury duty. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Will the prosecution call their witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to call Alicia Phillips to the stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Please state your name for the record.
Alicia Phillips.
Alicia Phillips, what is your job title?
I am the principal of Clearwater High School.
How long have you had this job?
5 years.
What happened on June 10th, 2019?
I entered the school building shortly before 6 a.m., as I do every day, and I walked into the lobby flooded and the fish tank that was in our lobby shattered and saw fish on the ground.
Who was responsible for the incident?
After reviewing our videotapes, Thomas O'Connell was responsible for the incident.
Okay. Was the fish tank someone's property?
It was the school's property.
Okay. Has it been repaired?
Yes. Well, we're working on the repairs.
How much have the repairs cost?
In total, the repairs are going to cost about $2,500.
How much did the fish tank cost originally?
The fish tank was a senior project of another student, Mary Rose, and I was told that in total it cost $5,000.
Was there substantial water damage to the lobby?
Thankfully, we caught it quick enough because I got there early enough. There was still some water damage, but it wasn't anything major. We were able to the custodians got in right away and cleaned it up, and it wasn't too much damage to the school.
Okay. Was Thomas reprimanded in school for this?
Yes, he was.
What was his punishment?
He's been suspended until the end of the school year. He's not able to go to prom, and there's a chance he won't walk at graduation this year.
Okay. Has Thomas been in trouble at school before?
Yes, he has.
Can you elaborate on what trouble he's gotten into?
Last year he pulled the fire alarm as a prank, he said. And this year he also pulled an April Fool's prank on some of the teachers, so he received out-of-school suspension for that. He's had a very heavy case of senioritis this year and has been coming late to school, so he's received multiple detentions for that as well.
Have you seen pranks like this before?
Yeah, our school, there's at least one senior prank that occurs every year. So I have seen senior pranks in the past, yes.
Have past pranks caused significant damage like this one?
No, I wouldn't say they've caused damage like this one has.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does the defense wish to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. How many senior pranks have you dealt with?
In the 5 years that I've been there, over 10 senior pranks.
So senior pranks are very common, correct?
Yeah, towards this end of the school year time, there's always quite a couple that happen each year.
Most of them are harmless, correct?
Yes.
If Thomas had not had the accident with the ladder, his prank would have been harmless too, right?
I guess you could say that.
So the damage he made was an accident, correct?
I guess so.
He didn't damage anything going into the school building, correct?
Correct.
What was his senior project?
From what I remember, I deal with a lot of seniors, but Thomas's senior project was he organized a beach cleanup at our local beach and also planted a bunch of beach grass at the beach.
He did a good job on it, didn't he?
Yes, he did a great job.
This raised the school's reputation, correct?
Yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback from the community about his project.
That'll be all.
Does the prosecution wish to redirect the witness?
No, Your Honor.
You may step down. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Your Honor.
We'd like to call Mary Rose Stevens to the stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. You may be seated. Please state your name for the record.
Mary Rose. What grade are you in?
12th grade.
Where do you go to high school?
Clearwater High School.
Are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
I'm in the Key Club, the volleyball, GSA, and the yearbook.
How do you know the respondent? How did you know him before this incident?
I didn't really know him. I just saw him in school.
How long have you gone to school with him?
I didn't even know he went to our school until this year.
Okay. Your Honor, may I mark this as Prosecution's Exhibit 1? What is Prosecution's Exhibit 1?
That is my fish tank
How do you recognize it?
because I fundraised for it and my father helped fundraise
Where
it
is
as well.
that?
In the lobby in the school.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of what your fish tank looked like?
Yes, before it was destroyed.
Your Honor, I move Prosecution's Exhibit Number 1 for identification into evidence as Prosecution's Exhibit Number 1.
No objections, Your Honor?
objections, Your Honor.
Can you please describe what a senior project at your school requires?
So you have to fundraise your own money, and I have to make like a change in the community to help.
Why did you pick this project?
'Cause I wanted to help people like get rid of their anxiety and like feel more calm when they come to school and they're not stressed.
How much did your project cost?
Around $5,000.
How long have you been working on it?
Since freshman year.
How many hours approximately?
I can't really remember because it's been taking me so long.
What, do you feel like you accomplished your goal when you finished this project?
Yes.
When you found out what Thomas did to your senior project, how did you feel?
I felt like a piece of my heart was broken.
How did you find out?
I saw what happened when I saw my fish tank pretty much destroyed when I walked into school.
Do you plan to repair the fish tank?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. You chose to add a fish tank to the school lobby, correct?
Yes.
Is it true that you have a passion for mental health?
Yes.
You chose to put a fish tank in the lobby because they are proven to reduce anxiety and calm people, right?
Yes.
Are you aware that Thomas has a mental health diagnosis?
Objection, Your Honor. There's no way she could have done that.
If I may be heard, Your Honor, I'm asking if she was aware, not whether or not he did.
There's no way.
If she was not aware, she could simply answer no.
Overruled.
No.
Your father owns a construction company, correct?
Yes.
Is it true that your father's company built and covered the cost of the stand and framing for the fish tank?
Objection, Your Honor. That is not relevant to the case, whether her father funded the project or not.
Overruled.
Objection, that's a compound question.
Sustained. Repeat the questions.
Is it true that your father built the stand?
No, he did not.
Yes. So what parts of the aquarium did your father build?
Well, he helped fund for it.
Okay. Which, if I may, like specifically, which parts did he build? Is it true that your father's company built and covered the cost of the stand and framing for the fish tank?
Objection, Your Honor, that's a compound question.
Sustained. Repeat the questions.
Is it true that your father's company built and covered the cost of the stand?
Objection, Your Honor, that's still a compound question.
Overruled.
Yes.
Is it true that your father's company built and covered the cost of the framing?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
If I may be heard, Your Honor, asked about the stand. Now I'm asking about the framing. The earlier objection was to a compound question, so I broke the question into two parts. Even though the stems are the same, the actual subject matter of the questions are very different.
Overruled.
Yes.
Is it true that that was the majority of the cost for the project?
Yes.
There were no other community members involved in this project, right?
Besides me, no.
Your fundraising efforts did not take 4 years, right?
It took some. I did work hard.
But not 4 years.
No.
Your family also donated money towards this project, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution wish to redirect the witness?
May we have a moment, Your Honor?
May.
May we proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Did you raise some money for this project?
Yes.
How did you feel when you walked in and saw all of your fish tank destroyed?
Objection, Your Honor. That the redirect question does not have to do with our cross-examined question. We did not ask about her feelings towards the matter.
Overruled.
Did you come up with this idea?
Yes.
How did you feel when you walked into school and found your fish tank destroyed on the ground?
I was devastated and really upset because all of the things that my parents have helped me with is for nothing.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to re-cross-examine the witness?
May we have a moment, Your Honor, please?
You may.
Thank you. May we proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
But the aquarium was the work of your parents and your father's funding, not the work of a community at large project that got everybody involved and boosted the morale of the people around you, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. That's not related to our redirect.
If I may be heard. Oh, okay, yeah.
You may be.
Okay. Overruled.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
But this aquarium was still the work of your parents and not the work of the community at large, which would have fostered understanding and cooperation among disparate elements in your community.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't think she understands the question that's being asked. Can we ask for it to be toned down so she can understand it?
Can you separate the questions so it's one
Sure.
question?
Although this aquarium was the work of your parents, not a community effort, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, I don't think she understands the question still.
Overruled.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
No,
No, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
No,
Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to call any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to call Thomas O'Connell to the stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. You may be seated. State your name for the record.
Thomas O'Connell.
Where do you go to school, Thomas?
Clearwater High School.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
What are your plans for after high school?
Well, I'm going to go to Suffolk Community College, Suffolk County Community College for a liberal arts degree, and then hopefully transfer to Stony Brook University for a environmental science major.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I work at the beach in the summer.
What is your summer work schedule like?
It's around 40 hours a week. It fluctuates.
Wow. Are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
Yes, I'm part of the thespian club. I do several plays. I'm also in chorus.
How long have you been involved in these activities?
I'd say since 9th grade.
Would you say that you enjoy these activities?
Yeah.
What are some of your other hobbies or interests?
I love surfing. That's kind of why I work at the beach. I skateboard, just hang out.
Do you have any mental health diagnoses?
I have ADHD.
Do you take any medication or receive any treatments for your ADHD?
No.
How does your ADHD affect you?
Well, it's sometimes hard to focus, especially in school. It really, even when I'm trying to really focus on something and maybe even studying, just trying to study, it kind of makes me fidgety, I'd say.
Like, specifically, how would you say that it hampers you in school?
Well, as I just said, my ability to study is really cut down. That's kind of why my grades are where they are right now.
Do you think your situation could be improved with medication if you?
Yeah, I'd say.
Who do you live with?
I live with my mom and my brother. He's in 9th grade.
What is your relationship like with your mother?
It's great. I love her.
That's good. What is your relationship like with your brother?
On and off, as every brother-to-brother relationship is, but I love him too. He's great.
That's great.
Objection. He keeps narrating.
Sustained.
I apologize, Your Honor. What is it? Do you have a father figure in your life?
No.
Have you ever known any father?
Yes, when I was a lot younger, but from what I've been told, I don't really remember. My mother and my father divorced when I was 5, so I don't really remember that much of him, but he was there.
How would you say that your relationship is with your father then?
Basically non-existent, if I'm going to be completely honest.
How do you think that your father's absence has affected your life?
It's hard to say because I don't really know a father, but from discussing with other people, their fathers really mean a lot to them, and not having one kind of makes me feel left out sometimes. I feel like I'm missing something.
What positive or influential males do you have in your life?
None.
How did your mother react when she found out about this incident?
She doesn't really show emotion that much to me, but yeah, I could tell it kind of took a toll on her.
Did you receive any consequences at home for this?
Yes, I was grounded, not allowed to go out with my friends, can't surf, and my phone was taken away.
Have you apologized to your mother?
Yes. I also apologized to my brother, just because I thought it was a bad influence on him.
How did you apologize to your mother and or brother?
I just approached them a bit after the incident, just let it settle a bit, and just explained to them why I did what I did, just kind of apologized.
What were your intentions for the incident that we are here for tonight?
I just wanted everybody to have a fun time, really. It was just days before we would graduate, so I really just wanted everybody to have one lasting memory of high school.
What were your intentions? Oh, sorry. Did you intend to cause any harm to anyone with your prank?
No, not at all.
Okay. What is your relationship with Mary Rose like?
Non-existent. I just know she's the rich girl, kind of.
Could you tell us about your senior project?
So my senior project was we would go to a local beach, kind of clean up the beach and plant beach grass, which allows the dunes to rebuild if they become lessened by humans, and just improve the quality of the beach.
Would you say that the beach is important to you and your community?
Oh, absolutely.
And how did you involve the community in this project?
Well, basically, we got, I forget how many people it was, but we got multiple groups to help with this effort. I think it was pretty good.
What would you say you have learned from this incident and also from your senior project as a whole?
Don't be stupid. It was kind of a act before you think kind of thing. I didn't think this would go as wrong as it did.
Yes. No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution wish to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
Proceed.
You are 17, correct?
Yep.
You have a 70 average in school, yes or no?
No.
What is your average then?
High 70s.
You have been suspended before, correct?
Yep.
You were suspended for pulling a fire alarm, correct?
Yep.
On the day of the incident, you purposely trespassed after school, correct?
Yes.
Your actions caused a fish tank to shatter, correct?
Yep.
You then fled the scene, correct?
Yeah.
How were you caught?
Well, everybody walked in the morning and saw that the fish tank was shattered, including me.
Did you know the fish tank was a student project, yes or no?
No.
Were you aware that it belonged to Mary Rose?
No.
Were you aware that her project cost around $5,000?
No.
You are a senior, correct?
Yep.
All seniors have to do their senior project, correct?
Yes.
You start the project when you're a freshman, correct?
Yeah.
So you just ruined 4 years of work, yes or no?
No.
How would you say no?
Wasn't her work.
Objection, Your Honor. How would you say no is not really an answerable question. He does not really he does not have anything for him to say no to.
Sustained.
Do senior pranks often leave this much destruction?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to redirect the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Were you planning to destroy the fish tank in this incident?
No.
Do you feel that this fish tank could have been destroyed by some other means?
Yeah, it's it's glass and it's not that durable of a material.
Were you aware that it had taken her 4 years, a full 4 years to do this project?
It seemed implausible that it would take 4 years to build a fish tank, so no.
No further questions.
Does the prosecution wish to re-cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor, we do. Your actions did cause the fish tank to break, correct?
Yeah.
No further questions.
You may step down. Does the defense wish to call any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
At this time, the attorneys will present their closing statements to the jury. Will the defense please give their closing statements?
Yes, Your Honor. Put yourself in Thomas's shoes. You're going away to college. It may be the last time you see these friends, perhaps for the rest of your life. What would you do? Would it be unreasonable to want to decorate your lobby? Would it be unreasonable to put a disco ball and some lights in your lobby? Would it be unreasonable to plot the surprise towards the end of the school year, when nostalgic yearbook signing and warm days harken the cessation of an era of childhood? Well, I don't know about you and the jury, but none of this is particularly unreasonable. The only thing that got him in trouble is an accident with a ladder. Without any of this, Thomas would not have been sent for the Honorable Brenna O'Reilly. All because of an aquarium. Even though it was Mary Rose's senior project, the damage is probably reparable. Furthermore, fish tanks can be built within a year, and with the backing of her father's eminent construction company, that could be done in time. Furthermore, as a youth court, the idea of restorative justice, or simply repairing the harm caused to the community, is always first and foremost. Based on that, we have decided to actually repair the harm that was done the community with our disposition. 5 hours of community service and 1 youth court jury duty. Thank you, judge, jury, attorneys, witnesses, and other volunteers for your time in helping us address the needs of our community tonight.
Will the prosecution please give their closing statement to the jury?
Yes, Your Honor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor. Tonight we have heard the case of Thomas O'Connell, a young man who cannot foresee the consequences of his actions. Throughout this trial, it has been evident that, while he thinks his pranks are funny, administration at Clearwater High School does not. Even though Thomas has been suspended multiple times for these jokes, he still did not know when to stop, leading to him ending up here today. Also important to remember is that Thomas destroyed another student's senior project that she worked hard on, causing an unreasonable amount of damage. These are facts I want you to consider, ladies and gentlemen, but also consider this. We have a responsibility to give Thomas the disposition that will help him most. We have a responsibility to uphold restorative justice, one that we all swore an oath to. Please keep that in mind while considering the restorative sentence of 35 hours of community service, a jail tour, having Thomas help pay for some of the damage he caused, a public apology to Mary Rose and his principal, and 1 jury duty. Thank you.
Members of the jury, the respondent, Thomas O'Connell, has been charged with Penal Law Section 14010, criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. A person is guilty of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree when he knowingly enters or remains unlawfully in a building or upon real property where the building is utilized as an elementary school or secondary school. Criminal trespass in the 3rd degree is a Class B misdemeanor. 145, criminal mischief in the 4th degree. A person is guilty of criminal mischief in the 4th degree when having no right to do so, nor any reasonable ground to believe that he or she has such a right, he or she recklessly damages property of another person in an amount exceeding $250, or criminal mischief in the third degree is a Class A misdemeanor.
Sorry.
It is your duty to determine a fair and appropriate disposition for the defendant and to be sure you remain impartial when making your decision. In deciding what disposition you will hand down tonight, you must consider only the evidence that has been presented to you in court tonight. When you reach the jury room, it is important that each of you on the jury express your opinions with each other during the deliberations and relates to each other what you feel the disposition should be and why. Remember, it is your duty to the respondent and the victims and the community to speak your conscience in the jury room. If you are simply going along with the crowd, you are not doing your job. When you reach a majority decision, you are to inform the court. Once court is back in session, the jury foreperson will announce your disposition to the court. Will everyone please rise? Will the bailiff escort the jury to the jury room to begin their deliberation? The court will now recess while the jury is in deliberation.
Right, ready?
God bless you. God bless you.
Will everyone please rise?
Please be seated. Who is the foreperson of the jury? Please state your name for the record.
Elle Dunker?
Has the jury reached a disposition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will the respondent please rise? Deliver the verdict.
We, the Youth Court for the Town of Southampton, recommend the respondent receive the following constructive disposition. 1 time to serve as a juror in future youth court cases to give back to us for our time here today. 15 hours of community service to repay the community for the harm your actions have caused. We recommend 5 hours done with the local aquarium and marine foundation, 5 hours to help with the school's upcoming mental health fair, and 5 hours to assist with the repairs of the lobby fish tank. We also recommend written apology letters to Clearwater High School and Mr. Stevens, Mary Rose's father, to show remorse for your actions. A verbal apology to Mary Rose tonight, and counseling to help you with your impulsive actions and to prepare yourself for college.
Thomas, the members of the jury have simply done their duty here tonight and returned a disposition for you to fulfill. Their decision was a group decision and must be respected. You may make your apology now.
I am sorry for destroying your fish tank, and it won't happen again.
On behalf of everyone here tonight, I wish you good luck. I do hope that your future will be filled with positive activities only, and that your role in our community and society will, from this night on, always be exemplary. At this time, I would like to ask the bailiff to escort you to the Youth Court Coordinator, Ms. Matz, who will explain the obligations and conditions of your disposition. Members of the jury, I commend you on the job you have done here tonight. The disposition you have handed down was fair and appropriate for the offense which has been committed. It is important that we all realize that it is necessary for society to have rules to protect us, and that it is our obligation to follow those rules. Members of the jury, attorneys, and youth court members, I thank you all for the respect you have given the defendant and the law. At this time, you are all excused. However, remember, you have a duty to uphold the oath of confidentiality concerning these proceedings and the individuals involved here tonight. This includes not talking to anyone about the deliberation process. Court is now in recess.